Ooh, they gave up 131 yards rushing.
Yeah, they almost matched them rushing.
On 31 attempts. They had a better rush average than Nebraska.
They did. ESPN.
That's not good.
Nope. No, it's not. Let's see. Face. All right. Nope. They did a pretty bad job dealing with the run this week. All right. Come on. Yep, let's get the stats for those on. See, some people are on Facebook Live, probably watching this already. We're not doing anything. It's because we're getting our facts straight.
Yeah, we got to get our facts straight. We got to get our numbers right. That way we're not saying false numbers, because you know our people out there in social media land, they're quick to jump on errors.
Oh, man. Yeah. One typo in Twitter, and it's like a free-for-all.
Yep. So we want to make sure that we get it as close to correct. There we go.
Great. My browser's crapped out.
Did it?
That's okay.
That's the good thing about having an iPhone sometimes.
I'm just trying to get the facts. Just trying to get the facts. Oh, here we go. Back in business, I think.
That's what I wanted. Ooh, personnel had one catch, huh?
Yeah. He had one little catch.
1 for 9 yards.
He's non-existent other than that.
Yeah, see Anthony Carter, two catches, 20 yards. I mean, they need to get him the ball more.
He's a beast, man.
Yeah, they just
He's
got
huge.
They got to give him the ball. You got a target like that, and after a player like that, you can't find ways to get him in the offense.
ESPN Nebraska. Yeah, he's a beast. Give him the ball. Wow.
Well, we see who the big play receiver is. Alonzo Moore, another 63-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, Alonzo Moore was all over the place the first half.
Then it was non-existent in the second, huh?
Yeah.
The good thing about it is that I was able to watch the game on TV in West Virginia. Since this was a national TV game. At what time? It was 12 o'clock there, 11 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
12 o'clock?
Yep, 12 o'clock, wow. Morgantown, West Virginia.
Let's see, there we go.
Wow, we got to get our punter kicking the ball better. He averaged 31 yards a punt. I thought he was supposed to have a strong leg, too.
Yeah, that's not a good showing. Yeah. He didn't punt very many times, though.
3?
Hmm.
Five interceptions. I don't like this number here. 21 catches for 412 yards.
For Nebraska?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're talking about 19-yard average, almost 20-yard average. I mean, they're looking for the big play all the time. We got to do a better job of control passing game. You got your top 5 receivers averaging 26 yards or more on Saturday.
God damn. Yeah, they put it down. He put it downfield quite a few times. I mean, there was 2 big shots to Riley at least, maybe even a third. All right, you about ready?
Yep.
Make sure this thing doesn't go to sleep. Bingo. 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 Yep, let's see. Just has to make sure it records. And for all the Facebook people, thanks for being patient. Oh, yeah.
It just takes some time to get stuff set up around here. That's about it.
Well, it's not too bad. All right, we're in business. If you're on Facebook, you won't get to hear the cool intro, but for everybody else that listens to this after the fact,
Can hear it. It actually is a pretty cool intro.
I like it a lot. You go. All right. Got my notes. This is episode 2, and we're getting Tommie's takes on the Nebraska-Wyoming game today. We're looking ahead to the big matchup with Oregon, and we're answering your social questions. I dig that beat.
Yeah, for people out there on Facebook Live, it is actually a pretty nice beat.
Welcome to Tommy Frazier's Husker Nation, the best destination on the web for all things Husker football. I'm your co-host, Dan Powers, and I'm joined every week by two-time national champ, Tommy Frazier.
Yours truly in the house. After a long 4 days in Pittsburgh and Morgantown, West Virginia.
So what'd you do up there?
Oh, I went up there and spoke with a couple companies. Got them a little motivated about sales, and then we actually, it was actually 4 of us. We actually went to the Morgantown, Youngstown, West Virginia, Youngstown State game.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. You know, it's a fun atmosphere. Morgantown, West Virginia is a fun community. It's a small community, but I tell you, they know how to do it. They know how to party there.
You have dinner with your buddy?
Yeah, we had dinner with who Bo?
Yeah, I was saying Bo.
No, not that guy. No. I had dinner with some buddies up there, but not that guy.
Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't have went over well.
No, yeah, you never know. I mean, you know, let bygones be bygones.
That's true too. I mean, yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's no longer here, so
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. But before we go into the Husker, I just wanted to say a couple of things about notes about this podcast. For those that are subscribed to iTunes, there is a new feed in iTunes. So it's a new show. So we have a new way of connecting in iTunes, and the show is now in Google Play for everybody who has Android. It's also on YouTube and SoundCloud, and we're trying to do some stuff on Facebook and Twitter. Even if they don't watch the live version,
Right.
the full podcast will be available on Facebook and Twitter, so they can even listen to it there.
Well, we're actually going mainstream now, huh?
Yeah. So
We're making sure we hit every social media
it
site
was a
out
little
there.
different last year. We trial and error, but this year it's everywhere. So
Well, that's always a good thing.
anywhere that somebody wants to listen to Tommy Frazier,
Talk about Husker football. And keep in mind, in a couple weeks, we're going to also introduce another show.
Yep.
But we're just talking about sports, period. Not necessarily Nebraska football, but it could be NFL, it could be baseball, it could be whatever.
you got some baseball knowledge now,
I
don't you?
got some good baseball
You
knowledge.
played quite a bit as a kid, didn't you?
I did.
And you got drafted?
Played all the way up to high school, but baseball for me was a little bit boring. But football was my first love. But I do have some baseball knowledge. Now my 13-year-old is starting to love baseball, so I got
13?
13.
Oh, yeah.
So now I got to get my baseball memory and drills and stuff back.
Well, I just wanted to throw that out there, and we'll have another show before too long out there that you guys can catch. But we're everywhere now. You shouldn't have any problems finding this show. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case you were subscribed to the old RSS feed is what it's called, but the old show on iTunes, stop doing that and use the new one.
Yes, yes.
Just go to iTunes and do a search for Tommy Frazier. All right, moving along.
Let's talk some Nebraska football.
Much better.
Let's talk some Nebraska football.
So Craig Bohl and his Cowboys came to town, and they gave us a little bit of a run at the first half of that game. Actually, first 3 quarters almost.
You know, as I was watching the game on TV from, as I said, Morgantown, West Virginia. You know, it was one of those deals where I think Nebraska was trying to do too much early and trying to force the run game. And I know that's the big thing. People in the media today is saying Nebraska couldn't run the football. You know, I always tell people when you're trying to run the ball against the 8 and 9 man front, it's hard to run the football, especially when that's not who you really are as an offense. And that's what you saw. That's what you saw Saturday. You saw a Wyoming team, Craig Bohl, who's known for stopping the run and forcing the and they live by the sword, die by the sword, saying Nebraska's going to have to be throwing the football, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, they did a fantastic job of shutting us down, and they did a pretty good job. I mean, I guess as good as anybody else running on us as well. They put up some decent numbers.
Yeah, they had 131 yards of rushing versus Nebraska's 138 yards rushing.
It's kind of funny. We say Nebraska didn't do a good job, and Wyoming did do a good job, but
when you look at both teams, you know, and you go back, when people go back and look at what Craig Bohl did at North Dakota State, his philosophy was we're going to run the football.
Yeah.
And with this being his third year, starting his third year at Wyoming, I mean, you got to give credit with it that he's starting to put a stamp on that program. He's starting to get his kids in there, and for them, they actually averaged more yards per rush than Nebraska did, and so that says a lot about those kids and how hard they work.
Our averages per rush for all the backs were not.
Well, I think it was like 3.3 yards a carry to where they averaged 4.2.
Newby was the best. I think he crossed over the 4 mark.
Yeah, he was 5. He was 5 on 4 carries.
So a week ago, we were talking about how good Zeke Bohl looked, and then this week, Zeke Bohl really didn't do anything miraculous, but Newby seemed to be the better back if you just go off paper.
Yeah, and just the running game just wasn't there, you know, and part of that was the offensive line looked kind of sluggish on the run game. You saw a lot of guys not really firing off the ball. You saw a lot of guys missing blocks, and when they I can be the first one to say they got outplayed. Wyoming's front 7 outplayed Nebraska's offensive line, and that's not good. But it's a learning experience because you also got guys who are playing the position for the first time this year. You got a lot of guys that are starting for the first time. So I was happy to see a game like that before it happened versus a team like Wyoming. We still win it. Then it happened versus Oregon.
Yeah, I think we all completely agree with that. I don't know and we'll talk about Oregon in a few minutes, but I have no idea what to expect out of this team going forward as far as an identity and run, pass. They talked about the balance, but each week it's been heavily sided one way or the other, it appears.
No, I don't think it's been heavily sided because when you look at the plays, I think it was close to 50-50. You know, it's 43 rushes and then 35 passes, 30 pass attempts. So they tried to run the football. They tried to keep it balanced. They just couldn't get anything going in the run game. And people, take your hats off to Wyoming. They came in with a game plan that we're gonna stop Nebraska running game and we're gonna force them to beat us throwing the ball. A good thing that Nebraska was able to throw the ball down the field and make some big plays.
Yeah. I won't. Yeah, I was gonna bring up Oregon, but I'm dying to go to Oregon. But we'll hold on.
We got plenty of time for Oregon.
Before we get into that, so we're gonna do. Last week we did Tommy's takes. This week we're gonna do it again. So let's talk about the top 5 things, or the 5 things that you take away from this game. You ready?
I'm ready. All
right, let's start with number 5.
Number 5. Let's talk about the offensive line play on the run game. You know, they gotta find a way to be more consistent there. You know, especially versus a team like Wyoming, to where we gotta be able to run the ball on a more consistent basis. You know, as I was watching the game, there were too many times where guys were running through on run plays, or we had running backs who weren't breaking tackles, or just a bad play call. So we gotta shore up the run game. That's number 1. And because if we can run the football on a more consistent basis, it's gonna open up the passing game even more, to where we're not trying. And when I say open up the passing game, to where we're not having to try to throw the deep ball time, it's going to set up the intermediate passing game, the medium to high range passing game. So that's the number 1 for me was the offensive line play.
And just real quick, it's very different. Just to ask, and just for us simple people, this is a very different running scheme than what you did back in the day, and even what Bohl did. Correct?
Yes. Well, it is different, but it's not. because the blocking schemes are basically still the same. It's just how they're doing it. It's how they're doing it. I always tell people, because and wherever I go, people ask me about football. Like I don't get tired of talking about football. But the thing is, they always ask me about running schemes and blocking schemes. If you look at every game, every team that run the football, they basically run the same plays. If they're in a spread offense, the West Coast offense, or the two-back offense, all the plays look the same. It's just how they get into them.
All right, let's go on. Number 4.
Linebacker play. Wow, that we got. They didn't play bad, but they didn't play great either. I think that we gotta get Mike Rose-Ivy on the field.
Yeah,
we gotta get him on the field, and he has to stay on the field. There's times where he'll go in for one play, then rush off the field, and then come back in the next play. Is he not healthy? Is there something wrong with him to where he's not? They're afraid to burn him out early. But when he's on the field, with him and Newby and Banderas, those guys make. But I mean, that's a great core there. But when he's down the field, you can tell the inexperience over there.
Yeah. It is what it is. Number 3.
I was happy to see the secondary play.
Yeah.
I was happy to see those guys ball hawk the ball. I was more excited to see Nate Gehrig respond the way he did. Coming off of suspension, his senior year, missing the first game, and having a big day that he had, and actually earned him the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. And he's been through a lot. He's been one of the mainstays back there, and for him to come back and have the game that he did, well, I was excited to see that. And then those young guys. I mean, are they perfect back there? No, but those guys, they're there. They have an opportunity to make a play, whether they make it or not. You're not seeing guys run up and down the field on them. So if you ask me if I thought the defensive back position would be playing as well as they are right now, with that many young guys playing, I would have said no. But they're playing well right now.
Yeah, they're playing really well, and they've been very humble about it too. At least Kyron
Williams. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he talked about the pick he had during the game that he ran back, and he just said, "Hey, the ball just showed up. It just dropped in my hands." And he was very humble the way he just handled it and everything.
Yeah, you got guys who are making plays, and I think this is the most interceptions Nebraska's had in a game in years.
Oh,
how many? I think we maybe we'll have like 4 interceptions by DBs last year. We had 5 in one game.
Yeah.
So obviously they put themselves in the positions to make the play. A couple. One of them, the receiver didn't catch it, but they're like you say, they didn't catch it. He was there to catch the deflection. Yeah. So that's all part of the game.
They did a good job. All right, number 2.
Number two, wide receiver play. I'm enjoying watching Alonzo Moore play. I enjoy watching Wester Camp finally have a big game. Those 2 players right there are the ones that's going to keep Nebraska with opportunity on offense to move the ball down the field. But the most disappointing thing to me was that we have a tight end in Carter that we can't seem to find a way to get him involved into the game. You got a guy who's a 6'3", 6'4", probably 235, 240.
He looks huge.
He could definitely be a guy you see playing a lot on Sunday.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we can't find a way to get him in the game on a more consistent basis, and that's what's disappointing for me, because he's a talent.
I think I've seen him throw 2, maybe 3 times to him this game.
Yeah, he had 2 catches this game.
Yeah,
and the guy that big and that tall and that athletic, get him the ball. Find a way to get him the ball, and then on DPE, Demario personnel. Maybe his confidence is not there yet. But that he's another player that we got to find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah,
because those last 2 players that I mentioned, along with Moore and Westerkamp, if you get those 4, do you throw in Riley on top of that? You got 5 guys right there.
Yeah.
That can stretch the field, that can make things happen.
Well, we've seen what Riley did. He was stretching the field early on, and he had 2 big catches. I think.
Yeah, I think he had 2 catches and one of them was like for 35, 36. I thought he had like the highest average of all the receivers.
Also 2.
Yeah, I think it was like 36 yards. He averaged 36 yards a catch.
Yeah.
So
he's stretching the field by all means.
No, excuse me, 26 yards a catch. 26 yards,
yeah.
But that's still good. That's still good though. So we got to find a way to get the playmakers the ball, because getting those guys the ball will also help the run game. because they force teams to stop stacking the box up. And when I say stacking the box, between the tight end, the tackle,
Yeah.
having 8-9 guys in there, you can't run. I don't care who you are. It's hard to run the ball against a 8-9-minute box on a consistent basis.
Well, that's what Craig Bohl did, right? He stacked the box
Right.
and said, "Go for it,
Go for it. Go for it."
And I think they just relied on the hope that his inconsistencies would not pay off. And but when you got the talent back there, and some of those balls, I think Tommy just throws it up. And he's, throws it in the general area, but he's got such talent; those guys can go get it.
Right. I mean, and that's the key. Get the balls in your playmaker hands, and sometimes as a quarterback, you're going to take chances, and you hope that your guy come down with the ball. You look at it. It's a funny thing, and I hate trying to bring in NFL to college, but did anyone watch the Green Bay Packers Jacksonville Jaguar game yesterday? How many times did Aaron Rodgers throw the ball up in there for grabs and his guys go and get it?
Yeah, he's got talent there.
Sometimes you have to do stuff like that. I mean, if you have that much confidence in your wide receivers, then sometimes throw it up.
Yeah,
let him go get it.
I hope Eli does that more this year. He's got stacked receivers, like he is stacked. All right, anyway. All right, number one.
That's like the way Tommy played. Was he great? No. Did he make a bonehead throw down when they're trying to score a touchdown? Yes. But that's part of the game. That is part of the game. But he responded, and he basically said, "Okay, fine. You're not going to want to let us run the ball. Then I guess I got to throw the ball at each." And he made some great throws. And now was he inconsistent sometimes? Yes, but that's okay. Sometimes versus teams like Wyoming, you can be inconsistent as long as you're making the plays that really matters. So that's why he's my number one, because even Coach Riley gave him the game ball by the way he plays. So obviously, if your head coach is giving you the game ball, feel that you did well enough to earn the game ball, and it's his first one ever at Nebraska. So the media and people in the media is down saying he's inconsistent and all that kind of stuff. I have never seen a quarterback who's consistent week in and week out. Never. They're going to have good days. They're going to have bad days.
Well, I think people get hung up with him about his pass percentage, these completions. He's just not that guy. He's not throwing 65%, accuracy or completion.
No.
That's not his talent. So I think when people, in fact, I have another question I was going to ask you about this, but I'll ask it now. But I think when we look at people like Tommy,
right,
and he's a dual threat, he brings multiple dimensions to that game that other players don't, that other quarterbacks don't.
Right. I guarantee there'll be a lot of teams right now who's having quarterback problems that would love to have him right now. Even with his inconsistent play sometimes, they would love to have him. Look at Wyoming. How many interceptions they guys throw? They got 5 interceptions. So at the end of the day, this guy, Tommy, he's going, we know what we have with him.
Yeah.
And it's up for the coaches to make sure they put him in situations to where he's not making those plays.
And he's every game or two, every couple of games, he makes a big mistake. He did this week, but he responds every single time.
You have to. You have to. As a quarterback, you got to throw that play out. Yes, I should have just threw the ball away or ran out of bounds. I threw it, interception. Okay, move on to the next play. Can't take it back now.
It's what
minimize the mistakes you make as a quarterback.
I just go back and look at Martinez, and it just felt like every week I had no idea what that guy was about to do.
You knew he's going to be a good chance he's going to break a long run, but you also knew there was a good chance he's going to throw an interception.
He was fast. I'll give him that. He was much faster than Armstrong was. But every week it was just all over the board. We're at least got some consistency. Actually, everybody says Tommy's inconsistent, but if you take a couple of steps up the ladder and look down week to week, he's got consistency in that game.
Yeah, and that's all. And that's all I have always said. If he can get to the point to where he's playing consistent, then Nebraska's gonna have an opportunity to play a lot of football and win a lot of football games. It's when he's not playing consistent, because we all know that if something was to happen to Tommy, this season is going to be over. We saw it last year. Yeah. It's something in Purdue. What happened?
Yeah.
You start Riker Fife, and nothing. This is not against Riker Fife, but he goes in and he throws 5 touchdowns. But how many interceptions did he throw? And we still lost the game. So everybody knows, and we all know that Tommy is the leader of this team. And we got to support him and stop always bashing him and hoping that he's going to make mistakes. That's part of the game. But have confidence that he's going, and have confidence in Coach Riley and Coach Langsdorff that they're going to get him prepared to where they're going to minimize the critical mistakes. Okay, and there's a difference between a mistake and critical mistakes, or like the interception he threw in the end zone when he should have just threw it away. That's, to me, that's a critical mistake.
That is a critical mistake.
But it didn't cost him the game. It cost him the point, but it didn't cost him the game. Now, eliminate those critical mistakes. So he had one. How many more critical mistakes did he have in that game? None. Now, did he have mistakes?
Yeah.
Did he miss a pass that he wasn't supposed to? Yes, but those are minor mistakes. So get him to eliminate the critical mistakes is what's most important to me.
And he did break Martinez's record for the most touchdowns thrown.
Well, he's thrown the ball enough. He should have.
I don't know if that's something. I hate, this is going to sound wrong. I don't know if we can really brag about that because of Nebraska's history.
It is a record. That's all part of Nebraska's record. And I take my hats off to him because he did break the record.
Yeah.
But once again, it goes back over the history. You go back and look at Jerry Taggart all the way to Pat Meany, Eric Scott. Now they throw the ball a lot more. And so when you throw the ball as much as they throw it, you're supposed to throw more touchdowns. But it's, once again, it's a record, so we got to commend him on it.
Yeah, I would assume going forward at some point in the not too near distant future, we'll see somebody else break it again.
Oh yeah, put it this way: if Pat O'Brien or this Tanner Lee kid, as good as they say they are, those guys can very easily break it too.
Yeah.
So records are meant to be broken, are set, and they're gonna be broken.
All right, you ready for some quick rapid-fire questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm just going to read these. Some of these you've already hit already, and just give me your rebuttal, nice and sweet and short. Or you've already talked about the offensive line, so I'm going to skip the first one. But the second question, if you were coaching in this game and you were the offensive coordinator, what would you have done differently in this particular game? Now that hindsight is here, what would you have done differently?
It's hard to say because when you have a game plan, you go in and you hope your game plan work. So maybe I'd have done a little bit more outside running game instead of doing so much inside. Maybe I'd have thrown a few more screens or jet screens to the wide receivers to loosen them up a little bit. But hindsight's 20/20. So that's probably what I would have done. Probably try to run outside a little bit more than trying to run inside.
So realistically, you're not seeing anything from a game plan or a coaching perspective that seems to be off from what you.
No, what I saw was a defense that will say we're going to stop you from running the ball because they saw what they did the first game versus Fresno State, and they say no, we're not going to let you run the ball on us like that. If you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us throwing the ball.
Yep. All right, are you missing DPE on punt returns yet?
I am. I've been missing them since last year. Obviously there's something there. There's something I don't get it. Do the coaches not have enough confidence in them?
They're not even returning the punts now.
They haven't returned a punt this year, or they returned when he went down. They didn't return him last year.
Yeah.
So I don't understand when I turn on TV and I watch a lot of other teams returning punts. Now I'm not saying return them every one they kick, but if there's 5 punts in the game, they're returning 3 of them. And there's just something that we're not doing, or do we not have the right guys protecting, blocking to slow the guys up so we can get returned?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know, but. If we can get that part of the game going, that's going to help the offense out because that's field position there.
Oh, yeah, you look back to the teams back in the 90s and the greats back then, how they changed the game. Tyrone Hughes, Corey
Dixon, I think, look at Mike Fullman. Yeah. And the people forget about this guy, DeJuan Gross.
Oh, yeah.
How many times did he return long punts or 20-yard punt returns?
Yeah.
Those yards help. So we got to find a way to get our punt return game going.
What'd you think, or what is your? I don't even know about this one. Nate Gehry and his personal penalties again.
I just think that's just emotion. The one thing on a defense guy, one thing you don't want to tell them to do is to tone it down because you want them to be aggressive. And his excuse, what he used, that's his excuse. But I would never tell a defensive guy he has to tone it down because once you tell him to tone it down, it's hard for him to get it back.
Yeah. That's something you coach afterwards.
That's something you coach afterwards, and you try to get them to learn. But if you tell a kid to start pulling back as a defensive guy, you'll never get it back to him.
Yeah. Last question. After 2 games, what portion of the game do you think you've seen the most improvement from since last year?
Defense.
Just
defense overall. Defense overall. I think this group right here is playing better as a unit. Are they perfect? No, but they got a lot of young guys playing, and you're gonna have mistakes. But if you go back and look at from last year to this year, I think the defense is probably playing better this year with the group they have out there than they did last year. And the offense is coming along. They're gonna come. Yeah. They're gonna get there. But defense, they're playing pretty well right now.
And one of the Davis brothers, two
Yes.
freshmen out there starting.
Yeah, the redshirt freshman out there starting. So I mean, you got a redshirt freshman at corner. You got a redshirt freshman at D line. I think Kyron Williams is what, a redshirt.
Yeah, I believe it's
sophomore or something like that, or so you got a lot of young guys out there.
I forgot the other one.
And you got a lot of, what is it, Lamar? Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson. I mean, you got a lot of young guys out there playing, and then they're playing well. So the defense side of the ball, which defense side of the ball should be playing well, because defense is always ahead of the offense. But I'm just happy to see them finally playing as
the offense in '95.
Yeah, defense. Defense was always ahead of us.
I didn't think I'd get that answer. From
the truth is the truth. They were ahead of us.
All right, we're gonna move on. All right, let's talk about this Saturday's game. So this Saturday, the Ducks are rolling into Lincoln.
Yes, they are.
They're 2-0 in game plan.
The Flying Ducks.
They're ranked 22nd in the nation as of this morning. I don't know if that's changed this evening, but they're coming into Lincoln. No Scott Frost this year, but they picked up a Brady Hope on the defensive side. So
I don't know if that's a good thing.
I don't know either.
I don't know if it's a good thing, but the one thing I can tell you, that the defense better be ready. Because it's going to be a track meet, and they better be ready to stop Royce Freeman, the running back. He might be the best running back in college football this year. And I know people talk about McCaffrey and Davin Cook, which I'm a very big fan of Davin Cook, and Clements from Wisconsin. But if you haven't seen this Freeman kid play, you can get yourself some popcorn and a big old Coke or lemonade or whatever you drink, and sit down and just watch, because he's going to put on a show. And it's going to put pressure on our defense. And then he also has some receivers that can stretch the field. Now, they might be able to catch it all the time, but you talk about, you got an Olympic sprinter who went to the Olympics or went to Olympics, and so we better be ready. We better be sound, because they're going to do some things that we haven't seen done.
Well, my biggest fear is Nebraska can't establish the run. I would assume that if they can't establish the run, then they're going to have a hard time winning this game.
Yeah, but for me, and that could be true. But for me, just knowing, if you go back and look at Oregon in history, anytime they played a big game, there was a lot of points scored.
Yeah.
So even with Brady Hoke as the new defensive coordinator, go back and look at when they were winning a lot of football games, when Scott Frost was there, when Chip Kelly was there.
Yeah.
They still giving up a lot of points. It's not like they just shut people out.
Do you think we'll be chasing them a lot of the game? From a point perspective,
I think we'll be chasing them a lot. Yes, because I don't think we're going to be able to slow them down enough on defense. So I truly believe this is going to be a high scoring game, and I think the team who won have the fewest penalties, because we're both high penalized teams, and the team who turns the ball over less, at least. If those two, if we win those two areas right there, we'll have a very good chance to win this football game.
I'm really hoping they've just been putting DP in their pocket for this game.
And it could be.
Wasn't that an old Osborne move?
No. He played the guys that he want to play because they need the reps. You need the reps. You got to give them in game. So I hope they hadn't been doing it because of this game. I hope they hadn't been Hines and Carter because of this game. You got to get them comfortable, get them out there, getting hits and stuff. So I think Nebraska. I think they're favored right now by a couple points, 2 or 3 points,
or something like that. Yeah.
Which is kind of rare when you got a team who's ranked high and you're ranked. So there's something people understand with college football. So the way I'm looking at it, I don't think Oregon's defense can stop us enough. But I also think that we're going to have a hard time stopping them a lot. So I think it's going to come down to a field goal game. I honestly believe that.
It is going to be a barn burner. This is going to be an exciting game.
It's going to be an exciting game. And, I might not be able to make it to it because my son has a baseball game at 11 o'clock on Saturday. But I promise you, if I'm not in Lincoln, I'll be at home watching it.
I was at a volleyball game for Wyoming, and I streamed the whole thing, on my phone. I watched that game still. There's ways to watch it, but this game is going to be... It should be spectacular. If both teams come and they bring their A game,
it's going to be...
Holy cow.
This game right here is going to set up the year for both teams. The winner of this game right here, it's going to set the tone for them having a really good year.
Because if we win this game, in theory, if you really look past that, we could, depending on what Nebraska team we get, should go 7-0 into Wisconsin.
I agree with that. But you never know. You still got to play the game. But Oregon, and I was listening somewhere on the radio to where people don't realize. I think it's since 2004, Oregon has 20 more wins total than Nebraska.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and you know it's what you're talking about 14 years, 12, like the 2002.
Still.
But Oregon has 20 more wins more than Nebraska.
They were on a really good run there with
Chip Kelly, and then it's all something. So they're trust me, people. They just played for the championship a couple of years, 3 years back, 4 years back. They're a good football team. They're a good football team,
fast.
and they're going. That's what I'm looking to say. It's going to be a track meet on the football field.
Yeah, I watched that guy in the Olympics in the sprinting competition. I mean, he's fast.
It's going to be a track meet, both sides of the ball on the football field.
Any predictions?
I'll say Nebraska win by a late field goal. I'm not going to say the score because this score could be 66-55. Like what was it? The Arizona State Texas Tech score a couple last weekend where it got.
Right off
I just think the team who turns the ball over and has the most penalties is going to lose this game.
I'm with you. I'm going Nebraska's too. I think this is going to be. It's going to remind me of like one of those MAC games. You know, MAC games that just go to crazy.
And I'm only doing this because Nebraska's playing at home. Now, if this game was in Eugene, I would pick Oregon because of the atmosphere, the crowd, the ruckus. So I'm picking Nebraska because they are playing at home.
It's going to be a great game.
It is going to be. Well, I hope it's a great game.
It should be.
It should be.
Yeah, Nebraska has lately not performed as well in big games.
But this is Oregon. But this is the way
home.
It's
home.
home. Senior year. You got some young guys who are playing well.
They're playing well.
I mean, I think it's set up for this. Will set the tone for Nebraska season.
Well, let's face it. We as a state need this big win. I think we need it. Not just the football team, but I think we all and if they lose, we will all recover. But it's been a long time since I remember winning a big game like this in Lincoln.
But you know what? I don't think we need this for the state. You need it. And here's the reason why. Because even if we win this game, I guarantee you're gonna have people come out and bring up all the negative stuff that happened in the game.
We are in that little stage.
We're in that stage. Look up. We beat Wyoming 52-17, and people still criticizing what? Well, we didn't run the ball well enough. Or Tommy made some. Come on, people. The object of the game is to do what? Win. Yeah. We won the game. Did we make mistakes? Yes. You look at Alabama. Alabama won their game, and you got a coach chewing the offensive coordinator out for making a dumb play call in the game. So we need to relax. The object is to win the game. Let the coaches deal with how we're going to improve. Be happy we won because last year. People weren't happy we weren't winning. At least we played hard.
Yeah, that's true.
We played hard. We made the time. We played hard. Now we're winning. You're still criticizing. You're still finding something negative. Be positive. But on a positive note, we won. Every game is different.
I may have said something somewhat negative on Twitter during the game.
But everybody does. That's just part of when something bad happens, people do. But we still got to look at the ultimate goal.
No, I agree. Totally.
Is to win the football game because every game you're not going to rush for 290-some yards against Wisconsin. Yeah. So you got to find out. So we might throw the ball a little bit more versus Wisconsin. We might have to throw the ball a little bit more versus Oregon. Not every game plan is going to be the same. Not every outcome is going to be the same. But the one outcome you want to be the same.
It's the W.
It's the W. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there.
And they did clean up very well at the end of that game. So.
And I actually liked that the game was close going in the third quarter because it forced those guys to play the full time.
Yeah, it made it more. I enjoyed it. It was much more exciting than the week prior. Fresno State was not exciting.
No, it was a boring game.
It was really boring.
It was a boring game.
So, hats off to Craig Bohl though. He gave us a run for a while.
He's gonna do good things there. He's finally starting to get his blueprint on that program. He's gonna do good things there.
All right, moving on. We got a social question from a Cade Anthony. He wants to know. Let me reset this. He says exactly, give me the score if the 94 Huskers would have played Penn State. How do you believe the game would have ended up?
Yeah, that's a tough game. 94 team wasn't as good as the 95 team. But the two, we probably been a dogfight. Yeah, because they had Kerry Collins, Kajana Carter. I mean, they were stacked on. They were stacked on that team. Of course, I'm gonna say we would have won. Because why would I say we would have lost?
Yeah, of course you would.
It would have been a tight battle like the Miami game was. Like that when we beat Miami, it would have been a tight game that went down to the bottom, went down to the end. I thought we probably would have worn them out, or they would have wore us out. But it would have been a close game. I'm not going to sit here and say it would have been a blowout.
I don't remember why you guys didn't play them. Do you recall? Was it
because the conference deal? It was that conference deal. We didn't because
that's right. Because they
Orange
Bowl and they went to the Rose Bowl.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, I think it was switched over at 97 or 98 is when they started saying, okay, we're going to BCS.
Yeah.
when they got rid of the Bohl, the conference alignments.
Right. You guys were still Big 8.
We're still Big 8.
You were Big 8 the entire time.
Big 8 the entire time. So that's why we didn't play Penn State, because they won their conference. They had to go to the Rose Bowl, and we had to go to the Orange Bowl.
Me personally, I love the fact we beat Miami.
Me too.
Like, I wanted to see us play Miami.
Me too. I wanted to beat another Florida school. The first Florida school I beat, so that was fun for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wish you had another chance with Florida State, but it worked out well.
Yeah, it worked out well. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No, and you can make a lot of debates about that other game. No matter what, final is the final. But
right.
All right. Any last words for this coming week?
Like I say, get your popcorn and whatever you drink. Sit down and let's watch a great show. It's gonna be a fun game.
It's gonna be really good.
It's gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be one of the probably most exciting games in Lincoln, Nebraska, in probably the last 5 to 10 years. And I ain't even talk about even when they play Wisconsin at night and even when they play Ohio State at night. This is gonna be a fun game.
And it's exciting. You don't see many big Pac-12 teams come here. I mean,
No.
UCLA did a few years ago, but this doesn't have the same vibe.
No, because UCLA wasn't as good back then as they are now.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. This show is recorded live every week, just for those that hear my errors and know I don't edit it out.
Why not? We're a real show. We'll make mistakes.
Well, they're
going to happen.
90% of the podcasts out there like this, they actually do the show and then they go back and they edit it all and they take out the ums and the ums.
No, that's not. No, we keep it real on the show.
I love the live. So we do it live to tape, so I just wanted to say that more frequently. Anyway, if you haven't already, go over to iTunes and subscribe. You'll see the new feed there. We're also on Google Play. And while you're there, we greatly appreciate any reviews, especially if they're kind reviews.
We like the negative reviews too, because the only way we're going to get better is by listening to criticism too. Now just keep in mind we might not agree with your criticism, but we'll take it.
Yeah, we're also on SoundCloud and all other podcast distribution channels. So,
till next time, people.
Oh yeah, we'll be back next week recapping the Huskers and the Ducks. And looking ahead to Northwestern, big game, or Big Ten gameplay.
Big Ten, and boy, are they looking bad right now.
Oh my God, what happened to them?
Wow, no offense.
Like, they completely fell apart. I didn't even know who Indiana State was.
Yeah, the Sycamores.
Like, what the hell?
They fell off. Indiana State is the home of Larry Bird.
Is it really?
Yeah, he went to Indiana State. Remember they lost to Michigan State in the championship. Basketball, NCAA.
That's why I do sports shows with you. All right, between now and then, you can follow us over on Twitter. I am at Band Named Dan, and you can find Tommy on Twitter.
Touchdown Tommy.
Or Facebook at Touchdown.
Or at touchdowntommy.com.
All three. Wherever you want to be. All right.
Later.
We're out. Do.